Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Pitchline Chronicles. I am Uncle Tats. I'm here with Donald and Rob. And look, another series win for the Yankees. And what's even sweeter is it's against the Blue Jays. And anytime you can win a series within your division, it even adds to the positive vibe of it. Especially when you get to wipe the smirk off of Vlad's face. That's even a double bonus because that arrogant. I'm not going to say it this early in the morning, but we all know what I'm saying. Good morning to everybody that is hanging out with us already in the chat. We got FL Diver, Medina, Jones, Stephen B, Strike Zone, NFE. What's going on, my guy? You also have hanging out with us, and I think I got everybody off the bat. All right. It's going to be a good day, right, Medina? It's going to be a good day, a little positivity in the morning. Shout out to Jigga and his Morning Cup of Joe show. That is probably the best thing that has ever been put on YouTube, besides us, is Jigga Man doing a half hour of just positive quotes, dad jokes. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's hilarious. Great way to start the day. Demon D, what's going on? Frederick, what is going on? All right. Stanton. We bashed him. We trashed him. We were ready to toss him to the curb. Are we seeing that little bit of a hot streak that they're always talking about, that we were waiting for since 2022? Is he finally, starting to put things together? Because he actually had a solid series at the plate. The grand slam, but not only that, his at-bats, some looked Stanton-esque, but some looked like, he was starting to come out of it a little bit. Where he wasn't.
Let's just cut to the chase. Big G hit the G spot, baby. That was pure theater. What an incredible moment. And it happened in April. That kind of moment with the whole Bronx exploding, with a sound that you could hear off the freaking bat, you could hear it from fucking Los Angeles. That is normally something that is reserved for October. With the Yankee Stadium exploded, and it was awesome to see. And this is just April. We're only like a week into the year, and Yankee Stadium is already exploding. And Big G with an absolute mammoth shot, man, and it was just incredible to watch it. It must have been incredible to be there at the stadium. So if anyone watching was at the stadium, please tell us what the atmosphere was like, because I can only imagine watching it on TV, the roar of that crowd. It was incredible, man. It was a noise that you'd expect from like WrestleMania or like a soccer game. You know what I mean? It was just like a roar. So that's why it's hard not to be romantic about the Yankees. Let's be honest. It's hard not to be romantic about what the Yankees give you, because they can give you moments where it's like pure theater fit for Broadway. And that's what it was like that. It was like Stanton, who's struggled immensely. He steps up and hits a grand slam, and it was an absolute blast. And it was a no-doubter, and it was incredible. And the whole release of energy, brilliant moment, great to watch, very, very exciting. And even better for the Yankees over the long term is that Stanton ain't done. He's far from done. There's still plenty left in that Stanton bat. Robinho.
You heard that all the way in WrestleMania. That's how loud that home run was. that thing was crushed. Look, I need to see more of a spurt of this. 2 games. It was 2 fantastic games, but we need to see it in a larger, I guess, scope, a larger stretch of games, I should say. I'm very, very happy for him because, even myself, I've been supporting. We've all been on this guy's side for years on this show, and we were all just kind of like, I'm not seeing it. You weren't seeing the signs of a turnaround that Boone was talking about. We talked about this on Saturday, and it was a great thing to see. He absolutely crushed it. That was a Stantonian blast. That was an absolute monster shot. And it's great to see that he still has that left in his tank. Hopefully we can get it in larger spurts this year, because like I said at the beginning of the season, if he's a low average but high power kind of guy, I'm taking that every day of the week. compared to what he's been the last couple of years, or at least a year and a half. I want the power from Giancarlo Stanton. I want the OPS to be 770 or higher, something like that. I want the home runs. I want the RBIs. I couldn't care less about his batting average necessarily, but I want him to be getting on base and hitting for power. Whether he's drawing walks, I just want the better eye at the plate, and that's what he had these last 2 games. His first game was bad, but the last 2 games was a lot better. He hit Gaussman. He hit whoever was pitching for them yesterday, and he was doing it against fastballs too, which I think is important to note. He was doing it against high heat because his home runs in the spring, it was like, yeah, but it was only about 89 miles an hour, so they were finding everything to critique about his swing. But now he's doing it against 95 or 94 plus, so that's a good sign. I want to see more consistent at-bats, and then I'll fully be back on board and be like, all right, he's back. But this is a hell of a first step, because if he's hitting like that, the middle of that lineup is relentlessly dangerous, because Rizzo even broke out a little bit. He had a big home run. So if you get Judge hot, Rizzo hot, and Stanton hot, Soto hasn't missed a beat, even if he's not hitting crushing balls at 115 miles an hour. He hasn't even hit his first Yankee Stadium home run yet every at-bat's must watch with him. This lineup's going to be deadly. And you saw that these last couple of games, what they can do at any moment, just like that, they can put up a crooked number. So if Stanton's hitting like that, this offense is going to be really, really fun. And we're only 10 games in. we're feeling good. We're feeling really good. It's a freaking drastic difference compared to how we were feeling last year at 10 games in. So hell of a start to this home stretch for the Yankees, and let's hope Stanton can keep it going. By the way, same lineup 2 days in a row.
The lineup's been consistent, man. But I will want to say this: Boone was low key kind of right.
Yeah,
he was low key right, wasn't he?
Hey, a blind squirrel finds enough.
People, all content creators we all love and respect, have been putting Boone over the coals for that comment. And by the way, he was low key right. So you have to call it when it is. When take the L. You have to take the L occasionally, and I want to see some people climb down a little bit, because at the end of the day, Boone was actually right. He did say when he's not hitting, his at bats are ugly and his swings are ugly when he's not hitting. But when he does hit, feel free to hop on board. and we all ripped him for it, and guess what? He was right, because that's exactly how it's turned out. Because a couple of at-bats previously, you're like, oh my God, this guy looks so bad. But then he starts hitting, and then he hits something into the stratosphere. So it's good to see. Now, I'm not going to say that Big G is absolutely back, but what I will say is that there's still plenty of life in that bat. It means he's still seeing pitches, and he's still catching up to pitches. He's squaring up to fastballs, and that's a huge sign. Huge sign. Huge sign. Now, is he a cleanup hitter? No, I wouldn't say that. I think he's probably better in the 5th or 6th hole, but the great news is that there's still plenty of life in that bat, and that's the most important thing. Thank God.
Well, that's what they did. They slid him into the 5th spot, and they had Rizzo in the cleanup. Maybe that's the formula. Maybe it was just that little adjustment, because especially with a guy like Stanton that's just really trying to he's not trying to as much as he's trying to prove to us as the fans that we should still cheer him on, that he can still be a contributor to this club. And we're not expecting him to win a batting title, but if he's able to get the home runs and the RBIs, if he's able to hit 30 home runs, and 75 plus RBIs, I don't think anybody's going to be complaining about that. Oh, I can't believe he's on the team. But to what you were saying with the fans with Boone, Donald, I think you're right, because we were all ready to be like, why are you trying to lie to us? We could see how he's struggling, and we called him out for it. He was right this time that he was coming, that he was on the verge of coming out of it. But let's see it carry over into the next series. Before we start saying he's back, he had a great series against Toronto. I don't want to take anything away from it, but let's have this hot streak last more than a game or two, because sometimes that's what happens with him. And believe me, I'm willing as much as I can. I want it to carry over. I want him. I want him to be like, look, the guys at the Pinstripe Chronicles have had my back since day one. I'm going to keep this hot streak going because I don't want them to look bad. And this weekend, he did not make us look bad for defending him for all those years.
I don't know about that, but
Giancarlo Stanton watches the show. You heard it here first. Giancarlo Stanton, #1 fan of the Pinstripe Chronicle.
yeah. Sum up. Stan loves the Pinstripe Chronicles. I'm not claiming he's on a hot streak yet. You need to see it over a consistent period. I'm not saying it's a hot streak, but what I'm saying is purely that we were a little bit too quick to jump the gun a little bit in the first week of April. You know, let's not forget that Tejera never hit anything until about June. So, and he still came up with 30 home runs every year. So, yeah, we were. I think we were a little bit too quick.
NFE just ruined it for me.
You know, we were a little bit too quick to jump the gun, but that's good. At the end of the day, never go against your first thought. And we all here thought that Stanton was going to have a good year, and it was certainly solidified with a very, very good spring. He had a really good batting average, and he was showing some power in spring. So, you know, it's taken a little bit of time for him to catch up in the regular season, but he's starting to show it. So it just shows, guys, that we can't look too deeply into April. Sometimes everyone gets hot at different times. Now, I'm not saying he's going to get hot. Maybe he's going to go 0 for 4 today. We don't know. But at least from that series, we know that he still got it. And that there's something to build from. And we shouldn't waste too much airtime discussing his swing. Because at the end of the day, he is what he is. He's going to look ugly. And then when he's on, it's pretty much awe-inspiring. And that's the best way to describe what he did yesterday. It was awe-inspiring.
Yeah, we saw that yesterday with him. The home run was a bomb, and then like his last at bat looked ugly. So like you get it with him, and that was goes to Mark's comment earlier where he said he's streaky, feast or famine with him. That's the perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
That's the exact way to put it with him. So you take what you can get from him. 2 years ago, he was having a bad season after the injury. He still had 30 home runs. So that's what I've been saying this whole time is if he can just do that for you, you're not cutting him from the team. You're not going to let him go or eat the money and try to get him to waive his no trade clause. You're going to take 30 home runs, whether it's in the 5 or 6 spot, wherever they're going to put him. You're going to take that in your lineup. If you're going to get a Joey Gallo-esque stat line from Stanton, you're going to take it at this point because it's better than what we had from him last year, which was low on base, low average, low everything, a ton of strikeouts, ugly at bats. You're going to take that over the course of hopefully a full healthy season from Giancarlo Stanton. So if the last few years of his Yankee career or of his career in general are Joey Gallo-esque numbers where it's just low average, high everything else, strikeouts included, you're going to take it because it's better than the alternative, which is him on the IL for 70 games and then coming back and playing hurt. So you're going to take that every day of the week.
Yeah, and I saw that Mike that Cole's going to play catch today. We're going to get into the pitching in a little bit, but as much as we're seeing how we've been talking about how Stanton's been coming out of it, the other player that we really need to start stepping up is Verdugo. I mean, he's got the defensive prowess to kind of bide him some time. Because we've been longing for a left fielder for so freaking long. But he's another one whose bat starting out cold. Is this a reference like we were saying before, like a Teixeira, where just April is just not their month, and then once it starts to get a little warmer out, because I don't see that he's lost at the plate. I just think he's just having some bad luck at the plate. What do you guys see?
Kind of a mixture. He hasn't really, outside of his home run against Arizona, he hasn't really. It's kind of like Stanton's first few games where he just didn't look good at all. Even outside of his home run in Houston, he had bad at bats. So that's kind of what I'm seeing with Verdugo is he just looks like maybe he's trying to get out of this the start of the season slump that he's in with one big hit, and that's not his game. He's not a power guy. He's not a He's not a guy that should be swinging for the fences. I know the short porch is going to give him a few, but he's a doubles hitter. He's a guy that goes the other way. We saw that in his first, I think, one of his first spring. I think first game of spring, he hit a double, like his first spring at bat. And you're like, that's what he's going to be for this lineup. He needs to get back to that, going the other way, hitting the line drives, going down the lines, whatever it needs to be. Just get on base. I don't care if it's singles or doubles. You don't need to hit 20 home runs, not with this lineup. Just get on base. And I think once he kind of simplifies his approach again back to what it was, again, we're 10 games into a 162 game season. It's a slow start. I get it. But I think he's going to be all right. He just needs to kind of go back to basics. It looks like he's trying to break out of it by hitting another big bomb to get the crowd going, which, again, he's a hype guy. He wants to get hyped up, but just kind of simplify things. I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, Donald, what are you seeing?
He looks frustrated. You could tell he looks frustrated after. I think he's just missed on a couple of swings, which are quite frustrating for him. You can tell he's just missing some, dating back to the previous series. Hey, dating even back to game one of the series. He just missed a 3-run home run, and he looked very, very frustrated because he's just late. He's just late. So a little bit late, and he's popping some pitches up, and he's hitting some routine fly balls that should be going yard. I'm not seeing anything too concerning. He's still working decent counts, and they're decent at bats. It's just he's just a little late. And as I say, it's April, so I'm not going to look too deeply into it. Having said that, he hasn't hit particularly well dating back through last year either. So I need to see a bigger sample size. It's too early to make any vast judgments on what he needs to improve on. I don't really see anything technically wrong with his swing. His swing looks fine, and his at-bats look fine. Just looks a little bit late. So we'll wait it out, bigger sample size. But sure, he needs to improve. He needs to improve offensively. Maybe shift him around the lineup a little bit. Maybe, I don't know, but in the meantime, not overly concerned. His defense is the only thing that really matters, because we've got the power bats and we've got the great bats that we have that doesn't really need Verdugo to go like he was a couple of years ago for Boston. He doesn't need to do that. Just play great defense and provide solid at bats. But for sure, he needs to step up a little bit. But I think we just need a bigger sample size.
Yeah, no, it came up in the chat. It's what, and look, if you guys want us to analyze a player, look, we have no problems doing that. But yeah, it's only 10 games. I don't want to overreact. But if the question comes up, that's what we're here for. Got to interact with you guys and respond to you guys. But no, that's why I was saying I don't think he's having a bad approach. I think he's having some bad luck. Like just missing a couple of key hits by an inch or two. So I don't think that he's just lost. He's just having a slow start. And that's really all it comes down to. We've had tons of players that have had the same thing, and at the end of the year, their numbers on the back of the baseball card is almost identical. They do figure it out, and they do end up with their numbers at the end of the year. If this is carrying over into May, maybe we'll have to take a deeper dive into his at-bats and see what's going on. And also, let's not forget the hitting coach, Rosen. He's seeing it. And I'd be shocked if they weren't working on things this early in the season. Even after a game, I'm sure he was working with these guys. Because he has changed the mindset and the mentality of a lot of these players, especially the younger kids. Wells, even though Wells has not really popped out of it yet and is gone on fire, but you look at the start. Let's end with let's before we get into the pitching, let's wrap up this little hitting segment with Cabrera and Volpe. And now those two are just they're insane at the plate. We talk. Rob made the statement how Soto's a much watched at bat. Cabrera and Volpe are putting themselves in that category this early in the season. I think that's a phenomenal thing. Because Volpe really, he's game by game shutting up every hater that wanted him out. And I'm here for it. because I did not want Volpe moved at all. I don't want him taken out of the shortstop hole. Look at that play he made yesterday. You know, that diving, that sliding stop, was able to throw out Kiermaier, who's not an easy guy to throw out at first base. So he's really starting to come back into his own. And he's also starting to show a little bit with the legs again. Even though he got caught stealing, but he did have those 2 steals. You kind of like, all right, you got me that time, but try getting me again. So Volpe's really starting to mold back into himself. That got him called up to the major league roster. So what's your guys' comments on Volpe, Donald?
Volpe's been incredible, man. He's been over 400. He's leveled out his swing. That was the key. So the biggest takeaway from Rouson is that Rouson's worked with him to level out that swing. And the Yankees have done a very good job with him coming into this season. And credit to Volpe, he's taken it and run with it. His at-bat quality is unbelievable. His contact ability is unbelievable. He's batting well over 400, and he's never off the base. You're looking at our future leadoff hitter, and when I say future, it's going to be very near future. He's probably going to, in the very, very near future, going to be our leadoff hitter, and undeservedly so. Loving that level swing, love his competitive at-bats, and it's no easy feat. We're talking about a guy in year 2. And he's facing great pitching, undaunted, and smacking balls all over the yard. And when you got a lineup with the likes of 2 Hall of Famers and Aaron Judge and Soto and one of the best power bats that we've ever seen in Stanton. All in the same lineup. You got Gleyber Torres. You got a lineup of great names, and he stands up with all of them. And he's only in year 2. It says a lot. It says a lot. It says a lot about what the Yankees scouts saw in him originally, and that's why they cleared the decks for him. We questioned it. We're like, should the Yankees maybe be looking at other options at shortstop until Volpe's 100% ready? No, they gave the job to Volpe. They trusted him. And the trust is paying off now. Plus, his defense has been excellent this year. His arm doesn't look that weak. It looks like he's making all the plays. And he's got really nice just a really nice calm ability at shortstop. He's very calm. He doesn't make hurried decisions. He's very calm with his decision making, and it makes all the difference. Volpe, we're looking at a special player. That's now official. We're looking at a special player, and I'm very, very happy for the kid and his family, and for him. He's working so hard to get to this point, and he's doing all the right things. All the right things.
Yeah, Rob.
Yeah, I agree with Joan here in the chat, saying not quite yet on the moving of Volpe, but I understand the kind of the plea from the fans to move him up in the lineup. Torres is starting to get going as well. His batting average has been boosted up to 250, so his bat's starting to get going. I would keep Volpe where he is because it's working. It's working right now. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what NFE said there, and I agree with that. I want to see Volpe at the top of the order. Don't get me wrong. He is like the prototypical leadoff guy. Get on base, steal a base. He had 2 yesterday, I believe. So that makes the most sense in the top of the order. However, right now he just looks so comfortable where he is. We saw that last year. They bumped him up. They put him up and down in the lineup, and he can never really get into a groove. I don't want to see that happen again when things are going so well. So I think you keep it the way it is right now, unless he forces your hand. Now, if Torres has to sit or something like that, maybe you think about that. But I think you keep it the way it is right now because he's absolutely raking, and he just looks comfortable where he is. Everything, he's seen the ball so well. The strikeout rate has plummeted compared to what it was last year. The guy was swinging at everything. Anything he could see, he was swinging at. It didn't matter if it was to the left, to the right, to the backstop at Shea Stadium. It's not even there anymore. He was swinging at it. So this guy couldn't hit the ball at all. early last season. Now he looks like a completely different player. And he's still, 22? There's still so much room for him to get better. And the defense has improved. It's a Gold Glover, and yet his defense has gotten better this year. Everything has looked so much better for the kid. I'm so happy for him because the pressure that was put on him last year, and then after one season, the doubts that were put on him, despite the fact that he played every single day, there were still fans out there that are like, I'm not too sure. And credit to Brian Cashman in that press conference that we all ripped him apart for. He said, Anthony Volpe, he put him in that conversation. He said Volpe's going to be better this year. He said he expects big things out of Anthony Volpe. And Volpe's proven him right. So it just goes to show you're seeing him and Cabrera, these guys that were kind of almost cast aside from a lot of people. For some reason, people were writing Volpe off. Cabrera made a little more sense because he struggled mightily last year and during the early part of the spring. But, man, credit to these kids. They're coming up and they're stepping up. Volpe has been tremendous. Cabrera with another hit yesterday, another RBI. Everything's working right now for these kids, and they played very, very well all together. But Volpe's defense, to me, that's the most impressive thing is his arm has been so much better.
Yeah.
I knew that bat was going to be better. I didn't think he'd be hitting 500. That's not going to stick around, of course. But, I mean, look, if he's just going to get on base and hit doubles and the spray chart looks good, that's all I care about with him. We need him to be a 260 or better type of hitter, and the home runs will come. The stolen bases will come. But that defense, I need to see that arm get better for him to be the shortstop moving forward. And especially with a guy like Arias knocking on the doorstep in a couple of years, Volpe's been great. So I tip my cap to him. I give him all the credit in the world.
Yep.
And there's still more to come with him. He's 22, and the sky's the limit. So very happy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that he should be leadoff right now. I'm just saying in the near future. In the future, but I'm actually not all that down on Torres leading off because if you look at the numbers, 3 of the first 4 guys in the league that have seen the most pitches are Yankees, and includes Gleyber Torres and Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. So they've seen the most pitches in the majors so far, and that's kind of what you want leading off. So, I mean, I don't think he's a leadoff hitter. I still prefer him in the middle of the order, but right now, I'm not down on changing it. I'm not. I don't think that there's any reason to. I think his at-bat quality has been excellent. So, yeah, not overly worried about Gleyber Torres, but yeah, I'm very excited about Volpe's future. I think Volpe is going to be leadoff hitter in the near future. He's got everything you kind of want prototypically. Now that he's leveled out that swing, now his at-bat quality is right there, and now that he's spraying the ball over the yard, and hitting for average. Plus, he's got that elite speed. I want to see more of that speed. I want to see Volpe continue to take that extra risk and steal bases and things like that. There's not too much pressure on him where he is, right? So he can get away with stealing bases. If he's running in and outs with Juan Soto after him, that's a problem. But where he is in the order, if he gets on base, steal away, baby. I want to see that speed, and it'll only be beneficial for the Yankees moving forward. But a big credit to Rousen, and I've not mentioned Ozzy Cabrera yet. Wow, just wow. I mean, I'm not a big fan of him defensively at third. He's not a great defensive third baseman. Makes some errors, but offensively, wow, just fantastic. Just amazing for the young kid. He's just crushing it. Clutch, love his quality at bats. He's our everyday third baseman now, until DJ LeMahieu gets back. And even still, I want to see him get regular at bats because he's earned it.
No, look, we talk about the approach at the plate, and the pitches that Torres has seen. I forget the number, that because it came up on a radio show. The Yankees have seen more pitches so far thrown this year by other teams by a mile. Like their patience at the plate this year is not even close to being matched. And I that is a very big testament to Rousen, but it's also a testament to the players that have bought into the system of, like we always said, you're always told the Little League, right? Just wait for your pitch. That's what they're doing. They're not trying to force something to happen. They're waiting for that pitch that they know they could do something with, and we're seeing the effects of it. Is it going to be success 100% of the time? No. But as long as you're staying within your game, the success is going to happen, and that's a big part of why the Yankees are sitting 8-2. It's as much as the pitching has done their job, it's a lot easier to do your job when you know that this year the offense is doing theirs. And they're really just the offense and the pitching is just walking side by side, carrying each other, and that is what makes a championship caliber team. Do we know at this point where how the season's going to play out? No, but like we've been saying, you can only react to the games you've seen. And if this is something that's going to continue throughout the season, I don't see how, even in a short series, how any team's bullpen can withstand it. Because you're going to have them one down in games 1 and 2, and then you have games 3 and 4. Now you get in the bottom of the barrel bullpen guys. So, this offense has really just stepped up, and we just sang the praises of Volpe. Cabrera is also a big part of it, because you have, Volpe, you have the lead or the top of the order with Torres, Soto, and Judge, and then you have to deal with Volpe in the middle, and now Cabrera at in the 9th spot to bring it back into the top of the order. It's a great formula. Will Volpe end up being a leadoff guy? Absolutely. I think somebody said it's 60 games. Give him 60 games and put him in leadoff. I actually think that's a fair number. Because you want to see if Torres is going to get into that rhythm as well. But his at-bats, the at-bats don't look sloppy. Except, I don't want to get too, go backwards into Stanton because he had a great series. But you're not seeing them flailing at the plate trying to force something to happen. They're taking almost like that little league approach of wait for your pitch. And it's balancing everything out. Like Mark just said, everything's balanced.
Yep.
But, what more can you say about Cabrera, though, at the plate? Him and Volpe, I think the two of them are just, hand in hand. It's your perfect 1-2 punch, and they're not even right next to each other in the lineup, and they're still showing that they are a threat in the batting order.
I like Jones' point here, and if you my future leadoff guy is Dominguez. Well, here's the great thing. We've got an incredible future ahead of us. We've got Volpe, we've got Dominguez, we've got Spencer Jones, who's coming through. Let's just tie down Juan Soto, and the sky's the limit for this team. We go Wells as our catcher, who looks really good. You got Ben Rice, who could come in and possibly platoon a catcher. There's just so much depth. You go Waldo, who's just shown that he is legit this year. So much depth offensively. Last year when things were looking pretty bad, like it looked like the Yankee window for World Series championships where it was closing, if not closed. Yeah. It's now wide open. Our window is now wide open. And a lot of it is credit to Gene Afterman. A lot of it is credit to Brian Cashman for building this farm system where these guys are all legit and ready. And Rousen has been a very good appointment. Matt Blake is a very good pitching coach. And I love the appointment of Osmus. I think Osmus is adding a really good tactical noose to Aaron Boone's bench. Aaron Boone just seems a little bit more locked in this year. And Aaron Judge has stepped up with his responsibilities as captain. I could definitely see that he's been leading by example. And there's just a different vibe and different energy this year. So I'll keep it as succinct as that. There's a different vibe, different energy, and the window's wide open for us. That's why I feel so good about this team. Now, whatever happens the rest of the year, because anything can happen one pitch to the next, anything. But what's for sure is this team is built for now and the long haul, and it's very, very exciting.
I really like this comment from Mark here because it actually is true. Boone's got his Zimmer, with Osmus with him. It's because sometimes the coaching staff goes, it's so underrated. It really is. If you have the right guy behind you to kind of lead the charge, it just makes everything it's seamless. The decisions don't seem so hard to make because you have the right voice in your head to say, all right, this is the approach we should be taking. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, I hesitate to bring Zimmer's name in just yet. I mean, it's not like we're looking at Joe Torre and Don Zimmer, two absolute behemoths of coaching and management and the baseball circles, just absolute Hall of Fame guys. So let's not jump the gun. But he's got his version. He's got his version, and that's important. He's got a good ear, and I rate him already so much better than the Mets manager. So much better as a bench manager because he's already made a difference. But
they want him fired already. that fan base is crumbling.
I don't think Mark was comparing, Ausmus to Zimmer, but just that, having the right bench coach, to work with, just like how, Torre and Zimmer would just, they were on the same level, and that you didn't have that back and forth, in the dugout, I think you should do this, and I'll do this, where they have. It's the chemistry part of it.
I understand. I'm not going after anyone. I'm just saying let's not directly.
And also want to welcome into the Pitch Light Chronicles chat. We got Jake Boss with us. Jake, what is going on? Hope you are enjoying the content. And anybody else that is enjoying the content, make sure you smack that like button, share this out. Let's grow the family out. If you're new to the chat, hit that subscribe button. If it's your first time here, like we always say, throw a 1 into the chat so we can welcome you properly. We are thinking the same way. Hats off. Well, yeah, because although I know Donald, some people, they see Zimmer's name, and there are some names that get brought up where it's like, oh, you can't compare to that person. Oh, you can't. So I know Donald understood what you were saying, but just somebody else that might not. I don't sell Donald that short at all. Plus, he's taller than me. So. So I can't call anybody short. Let's get to the pitching, right? And I want to switch that up. And I want to start with yesterday's starter. How freaking dominant does freaking Luis Gil look? He is insane. I love watching him pitch. I could watch that every day of the week. And I know that he hasn't got, they haven't let him get through the 5th inning yet. His pitch count was high. So I don't think it was that his stuff was falling off. They just don't want his arm falling off. He is coming back from a major surgery, and made his way back in. But I mean, even in that short sample, in the short outing, the strikeouts are there. He's and that's not an easy lineup to navigate. They have not had easy lineups to face to start the year, which is why I'm giving the pitching as much credit as the offense, because they've had to navigate all these lineups, and they've been successful. And Luis Gil is going to make it a very tough decision when Cole gets back. How you guys thinking about Gil?
Aside from the walks, which he didn't get much help from that abomination of an umpire, I want that guy thrown off like a cliff with a trampoline at the bottom. I'm not saying to cause him bodily harm or anything, but I would like for him to be put somewhere where we can't find him and just let him live out the rest of his life somewhere hidden in a cave. I don't know, live with the jungle animals or something. I can't stand him.
How about where they send Napoleon? St. Helena.
Where were they sent him? The episode of South Park. The episode of South Park where they had the 3 guys on the block of ice, and they said they're sending them adrift. Do that to Angel Hernandez, because he needs to go somewhere that's not in baseball. That guy is the biggest joke. The fact that piece of shit is still employed by Major League Baseball is exactly what's wrong with the sport. That guy steals the show. First batter of the bottom of the 1st inning, the guy clearly steps off the mound. The pitch wasn't close to the zone. Strike 3, Torres, you're out. And Torres is standing there like, what the hell just happened? He stepped off. I don't know how Boone didn't get thrown out of the game right there. That shows me that Boone is trying to calm himself down this year, but he should have blown up. Angel Hernandez needs to go far, far away. That's all I'm going to say about that abomination. But Luis Gil, if he gets that command down to at least a manageable point, he's going to be really, really good. 8 strikeouts in 4 innings? That's nothing to scoff at. That's fantastic stuff. But the command has been his biggest issue. It's been a little bit better, but It's promising. Again, he's just coming back from Tommy John. He's still pumping gas. He's still striking out a ton of guys. The changeup looks filthy. He just needs to work on that command a little bit better, and you'll see that pitch count drop, and he'll go deeper into games. But we also have to be cautious with how many pitches he does throw, because, again, he hasn't pitched in a while. So there's a lot of things that kind of go into the same pot when you're talking about Luis Gil, but it's promising. 2 starts in, you haven't seen anything that you're like, wow, this guy wasn't the right choice. He was the right choice to give to the number 5 spot.
Yep.
We just need to get that command a little bit better, and he will be very, very good.
I think the command is more mental with him. I think, well, I know that Angel Hernandez threw him off. That's a fact. He threw him off because he was so comfortable. For the first 2 innings, he was very, very comfortable. And then Hernandez started to screw around with the strike zone a little bit, really tightened it up on him. And then that egregious play, which was such a disgrace. Hernandez didn't waste any time to make himself the focal point of that game until Stanton took the headlines from him. Until then, it was the Angel Hernandez game. And for that alone, he should be fired. That alone. He walked in, he's like, when he heard the boos from the Yankee Stadium, and before he'd even done anything, he's like, oh, I'm going to make this game all about me. I'm going to piss off you guys like nothing on earth. And that's exactly what he did. That was egregious. He stepped off, and then he lobbed the ball over the plate, and it was about that high above the strike zone, and he called the strike 3. That was a disgrace. I don't understand how Aaron Boone didn't go after him. He should have got himself thrown out the game for that, because that was egregious. That was a cheat. That was a cheat move. It was shitty, and also zero respect to the rest of the umpiring crew, because they all should have defended Torres there and was like, no, he stepped off, but they didn't. So they're all in it together. They're all complicit. But Angel Hernandez is an absolute prick. A prick's prick. That's what he is.
Because of all the lawsuits.
Because he made the game all about himself. And then he wasn't done there. Then it became him versus Luis Gil. And there was only going to be one winner. So the umpire made it his thing to put Luis Gil down a notch. Luis Gil's a kid. Give me a break. He's a rookie. He's essentially a rookie. Like, I know that you've been umpiring for 34 years and you think that you're Billy Big Balls, but you're fucking not, man. You're an umpire. Do your job, call balls and strikes, and let the game be the spectacle, not you. Because he made it all about himself, and I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. I thought it was a disgrace. And then he couldn't be done with that. The amount of times that he was just like, oh, look at the batter, look at the batter. The amount of times that he did that at least 3 times during that inning where Luis Gil was building up in his head. He was throwing balls. He was trying to get himself together. And then he was still going after Luis Gil. So that's why I don't think there should be any blame to Luis Gil at all. Because every time that he was trying to get himself together, Angel Hernandez kept telling him, oh, look at the batter, look at the batter. Remember that? Rob, I thought it was a disgrace because, I mean, what is he supposed to fucking do? He's trying to get himself together. So then, yeah, he got frustrated. There was a couple of marginal strike 3 calls that should have been called either way. It could have been called either way, right? And he was frustrated that none of them went his way. So, yeah, he stepped off. You could claim that he was showing up Angel Hernandez, but it was all part of the show. Angel Hernandez wanted it to all be about himself. So I disagree with Jones' comment here. Gil shouldn't have shown up the ump because the plate got smaller. Be in his spot, man, because the ump made it all about himself. He made it all about himself, and it was frustrating Luis Gil because Luis Gil knew it. So there was nothing Luis Gil could do. It was like every time that he threw a really good pitch, that even Mike McKay was like, that's a great pitch, and it didn't get called, he was like frustrated, right? And that it just comes with being a kid. But credit to Aaron Boone, because when he got off the mound and he sat back down, Aaron Boone talked to him. And he came back out and he was a different pitcher and he did a good job. But yeah, the plate did get smaller after that because that's Angel Hernandez. It's nothing to do with Luis Gil. Yeah, Gil probably.
Yeah, I don't think it mattered who was on the mound.
Frustrated. We had 50,000 baying fans and he was trying to get the pitches, and every good pitch wasn't getting called. So I can't blame Keel. He was getting frustrated. He was getting frustrated because that umpire was making it all about himself, doing that 3 times. And then after it, when he was checking his glove, he was lecturing Heel. Who are you? Are you a school teacher? No, you're not. You're a fucking umpire. Do your fucking job, call balls and strikes, and sit the fuck down.
Yeah. Look, the fact that and you're right, Frederick. Cheers for Donald on that one. But no, the fact that as soon as before anything was even done, he was booed by an entire stadium. That should put MLB on notice, and it should put every other fan base on notice. Do that every game. Every stadium should be doing that until they correct it. And finally, lawsuits be damned. Just get rid of this freaking guy. Because that's the other reason I think that a lot of the other umpiring staff doesn't say anything, because otherwise they're going to get sued. Well, because of this whole whatever it is. I don't want to say it and then go into this other deep dive, but let's talk about the bullpen now. All right, the bullpen. I know the other that game we lost, they were all saying, see, the bullpen sucks. The bullpen sucks. They had a rough day. Just like the offense can have a rough day, just like the starters can have a rough day, the bullpen's entitled to the same bad day. If it would have carried over to yesterday's game and they just completely imploded, then you could say, all right, let's maybe they're being overworked. But everybody has a bad day, and it just sucks when it's the same group of people having it together. I'm not worried about the bullpen. Nobody should be worried about the bullpen. How do you guys feel?
No, yesterday was fine. Ferguson looked pretty good after he bounced back after that home run the other day. Santana looked really good. Santana had a much better outing than his first one. And I think who else did Birdie pitch got a couple outs. I'm not too sold on Kirk Cousins' cousin Jake.
God.
I think they're gonna end up sending him. I know he's got an option, so they can use his spot right now as a Scranton shuttle type of thing. Maybe to get a fresh arm up here for this Marlins series. I don't see a lot. I know he's got the slider sinker combo that Blake loves, but I just haven't seen anything from him just yet. And now it's only 2 outings, but not really much to like with his stuff. Yeah, so you probably think about maybe sending him down, getting a fresh arm, whoever that may be. I know Beater just pitched the other day, so it probably wouldn't be him, but we'll see. Maybe Canley's on the comeback in the next week or so. Hopefully, we can definitely use his arm. But overall, the bullpen's been fine. They almost blew it the second game. I didn't think that was going to be the case, but thankfully it didn't happen. And then yesterday, I think they did just fine. They kept the lead where it was. They didn't screw around. They didn't give us any reason to be like, oh my gosh, they're going to blow it. And they got the game. So yeah, maybe Poteet. You're right. Maybe Poteet or Morris Jones. You're right.
I agree. Because
but yeah, the bullpen's fine, and we're gonna get some guys back. It's gonna look a lot different by midseason. We're gonna have guys getting healthy. Ross will be healthy. Trevino's gonna be healthy. Canley's coming back. I would not be surprised if they pull off a trade. They just picked up Bickford on a minor league deal. Maybe we see him when he gets his arm good to go. There's always the chance that they give Marinaccio another chance, although I don't know if that's going to happen. But yeah, so far so good from this bullpen. And this is not even really, when you look at some of these names, like you're like, who are these guys? Outside of like Clay Holmes, we lost Loizaga. Even Hamilton had a little bit of a hiccup the other day, but that's going to happen. The bullpen's done its job though, because they've been pitching a lot. These starters are not going deep into games outside of Stroman, and we desperately need Garrett Cole back, or at least get some length out of this damn rotation. That I think the bullpen will be fine, but they're doing the job considering 10 games in, they've been worked. They've been really heavily leaned upon, and they're getting the job done more times than not. So they've been fine.
Yeah. Rob nailed it there at the end, because that's really the only takeaway you can take from this bullpen. I can't judge this bullpen because they have to pitch 6 innings every single night. Yeah. It's rare if we see a starter that can actually get into the 6th inning. It's just they're normally getting pulled midway into the fifth. So that's a lot of pressure on our bullpen, and it's not sustainable. So they need to figure something out. They need to get more length from our starters. That's my biggest takeaway. Our pitchers, but generally, our pitching's been fine. Our starters have been okay for the most part, and the bullpen's been fine the most part because they had that streak of like 15 innings without giving up a run. So the bullpen's been fine. It's just it's always going to shake when you're under this constant amount of duress, where they're constantly having to pitch the majority of games every single night. You're going to get nights where, Ian Hamilton isn't his normal Terminator self, so there's a lot of pressure. That's why it ain't sustainable. That's why at this current rate, the bullpen's going to be exhausted by June, which will happen last year. So we need to get a little bit of length from our starters, and we probably need to look at other arms to come in instead of Cousins, because Cousins, I'm sorry, is the only arm that I don't really like. I don't see anything there at all. I think he stinks. But for the most part, the bullpen's been fine. No arguments. They've done a good job. They've kept the games very much within reach for us, and we've won 80% of them. So let's there's not much more we can argue with. There's really nothing to argue with. It's been fine. It's been absolutely fine. Uncle Tats, should we not get into our player awards before we close out?
Yeah, we're gonna close out with the player awards, absolutely. But I just want to, with Cousins, I think, like Rob said, you only had 2 appearances so far. I think they're gonna give him this Miami series and then make a decision. I think that because he's already here. Yes, he has the option, but do you want to waste it in the 10th game of the year? So I don't know. What is it? Multiple options on him?
No, if you use it, you can. If you use it this year, you can keep sending him up and down. They do it all the time.
Okay. I always get confused with the option, but if he has an option, it goes away when you send him down. It always throws. I never understood that.
Well, they get 3 options, and if you use it you get 1 option a year, basically. So, like this year, Cabrera doesn't have any options because they sent him up and down. They sent him down last year, then the year before, I think. So I don't know if he's had options. That's why some players get an extra option if their service time isn't too high, like Peraza, for instance.
Okay. All right. See, I even learn something every day on the show. But all right. So then I wouldn't even worry about it. Send him down then. But no, I do want to see him get the Marlins series. I still want to see what he's got. Because like you said, he's got that sinker slider that Blake loves, and I think if he stays up here and works with Blake, we'll start to see maybe some of it come into place, and he can give us legitimate outings. But Donald, it's award time, buddy.
All right, let's do that. So here we go. MVP of the series. Let's start with Tats.
The MVP, I'm on the fence between 2 people, but I'm sticking with Volpe. His bat and his glove. I don't know how you vote against him right now.
Well, I can tell you exactly how you vote against him because I'm voting for Giancarlo Stanton.
Exactly.
Giancarlo Stanton won us the game yesterday, and he was a big part of our win in game 2. So, Big G, MVP.
MVP for me, big motherfucking G. Big G hit the G spot last night. It was unbelievable. What a moment, and he won the series. There's not even a question about it. He won the series. Like, he was incredible. So it has to be Big G, big mofo and G. Well, let's ask the fans, the majority of the fans, who have you got? Let's go. Let's be quick. And we got Frederick. He's got Volpe. Stevie B's got Stanton. And if he's got Big G.
Looks like Stanton's the MVP this week.
Yep.
This series.
Big G wins. Happy to see that. Yeah. Excellent. Good job. Low-key MVP. Let's start with Rob.
Now, this one I'll give to Volpe.
Yeah.
Volpe was really, really good. And his defense and offense, he was great. So low-key, basically MVP 2 or MVP B, Anthony Volpe.
Agreed. I'm the same. I'm giving it to Volpe. He gets the low-key MVP. Tats?
It's Stanton. That's why it was to me. It was going to be one or the other for either one. And Volpe got the edge because of the defensive play to get Kiermaier out, because that pretty much shut down the Kiermaier on base would kill any momentum. But you cannot deny the impact of Stanton's bat. So yeah, he's low-key MVP. If he played the field, he would have won it handily.
Let's ask the fans. We've got plenty of Volpes in the chat from what I'm seeing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, bunch of 4, but at least 4 people have
Tina said IKF.
I'm almost tempted just to give it to him just for that. I'll give it to Volpe. Okay, the Clutch Award. I'm going to start. Big G, baby. Rob.
Yeah, I don't know how you say anybody else.
Clean sweep, Giancarlo Stanton.
Yep.
Big G across the board. Good to see. And the fans.
Yeah, so far we
Medina says definitely Big G.
Stanton's running away with it.
All kinds of G's. Oh yeah, 3 G's. All kinds of G's. Love it. G's getting the win. Pitching award. Now this could be interesting. Let's start with Rob. Break down what pitching you thought won the series for us.
Well, I mean, we didn't win the game, but Marcus Stroman was clearly the best pitcher of the weekend. He was outstanding. Home opener, comes out there. No one liked him at the signing, and now he's like a fan favorite. The dude wants to be here. He's pitching like he wants to be here. He's an absolute animal, Marcus Stroman.
Looks like the fans agree. We've got NFB, we've got FL Diver, we've got Jonathan, all saying Stro. Looks like Stro is going to win there. Tats, who have you got?
No, I got Stroman. Yeah, the guy, I want the ball, and we saw why. Yeah, and he gave the fans exactly what they came for. He's got that swagger, he's got that little, bravado to him. Stroman.
Yeah, I was very proud of Stroman. He just looked incredible, and he was the one guy that gave us length, and he cruised through that outing. Very, very proud of his outing. He looks like he's born to be a Yankee. That's the best way I can put it. He just looks like he's born to be a Yankee. So, and he showed that. He's going to be great this year. He's going to be absolutely great this year, and we need him to be. Luis Gil, he looked great the first 2 innings. And I'm thinking, there might be competition for this award, but then he kind of fell off a little bit because of the whole stuff with Angel Hernandez. But what I will say to Luis Gil, and what we need from Luis Gil, is that he needs to get out of his head, and he needs to sacrifice some strikeouts for quicker outs, because clearly the Yankees have a pitch limit on him. They don't want him going much more beyond 80, 85. So in that case, we probably need a little bit of more quicker outs, which means, hey, with your 100-mile-an-hour fastball, trust to throw it in the zone, because I don't think there'll be too many bats that are going to catch up to it. So I'd probably do that. Try and get a couple quicker outs. Trust his stuff, because I don't know if he trusted his stuff once that plate got really, really small yesterday. But I would have said that Luis Gil was close to being a
very close.
Competed for that award, because I liked what I saw for the first 2 innings, and then it got away from him a little bit. But credit to him for holding it at what it was, and he didn't get any worse. So this credit to him too. Michael Caputo says he's a big Stroman guy. Looks like someone actually had Santana, and Santana
gave an honorable mention to Santana.
Very, very good shout, Santana. He was probably our best bullpen arm, like without a doubt. I thought he looked really, really good. So that's something that we can build off of. Frank Rivera, what does he say here? I thought the same thing. Case like home runs, they're cool, but getting the lineup with less pitches is important. Yeah. So in which case, trust your stuff a little bit. Try and throw a little bit more pitches in the zone. Try and induce some contact, some pop-ups, some fly balls. Keep guys off balance. Try and get some quicker outs, and then you can mix in your ton of strikeouts because he's got all the strikeout stuff in the world. So that's one thing I'd take away. But clean sweeps for Stroh. And we will now get to the Take the L award. Let's go with
there's so many.
City of Toronto. Your stupid accent. That's why Ohtani didn't want to go there. That's why Drake sucks. Screw Toronto. We beat you. Talk all that smack, Vladdy, how easy it is to play against the Yankees. Q. F you. F Toronto. F Canada. Go Yankees.
All right. So you're going to go. I guess I'll just go with Canada. when we revisit these awards like months from now, and then we look back and we go, take the L, take the blah, blah, blah. Canada.
That's the fun part of it.
Blame Canada, as South Park says. Anyway, for anyone who's Canadian here that watches us, we love you, apart from Rob. And Jones got a good one. Vladdy, what are you shushing us for? You were down 6 runs, bro. What are you shushing? We should be shushing you.
That's why he's my take the L.
So
Vladdy's my take the L. He just annoys the shit out of me. I can't stand even looking at him. And every time he gets a hit and it's against the Yankees, he acts like it's the World Series win. Yeah, enough. You're only embarrassing yourself. So Vladdy's my take the L.
And Sunil takes the L for taking credit for his own comment. Donald, my comment takes the cake. What? You don't take credit for your own comment, bro. Other people give you credit for your comment. You don't say, my comment takes the cake. You should say, my comment, check out my comment. And my comment takes the cake, bro.
See, this is the icing on the cake, right? Because the Rangers beat the Canadians last night, too. And so even in hockey, Toronto sucks.
Sunil, you're giving yourself an award. The Sunil Award.
Only on the Pitchside Chronicles, I swear.
The Sunil Award for worst joke of the day. Spoiler alert. Goes to
maybe credit coming.
Oh my God. Anyway, it looks like at the moment, the fans are saying that Vlad is getting the L. It looks like. So we're gonna go with Vlad getting the L. Tats, who gets the L for you?
Vlad.
Vlad?
I said that. It's Vlad. Yeah, you can't every time you get on base against the Yankees act like you won the World Series.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's just embarrassing himself. So big L on his head.
And me, I'm giving Trevino the L. Because for me, he was directly responsible for that loss in game 1 of the series. I'm not looking past him, man. He caught Birdie like Birdie's pitches was literally on fire, that it was going to explode if it reached his glove because he was diving out the way like it was dodgeball. Like I've seen dodgeball with people making better contact with catching the ball than Trevino. He was diving everywhere to avoid it. It was unbelievable. He was getting crossed up on fastballs that was right down the freaking middle, and he was screwing it up. Somehow they were getting called wild pitches, bro. Those were pass balls. Those were pass balls. So he should be thanking the judges because he got away with that. I thought he did a terrible job behind the plate, and he did a worse job offensively. I don't understand why Aaron Boone had him bat in the 8th, because that was costly because he can't hit, yeah, especially when you all got all those excellent lefty options off the bench. That was dumb, but he was much worse when he was catching. He can't catch right now. I don't know what's going on with Trevino. It's almost like, but what I will say is, if Gary Sanchez did half of what Trevino did in that inning with Birdie, Yankee fans would have been like jumping over the rails and chasing after him, right? Let's call fair, right? Because Rob's a big Gary Sanchez fan. He was, and we all rip Gary Sanchez for his defense, but Gary Sanchez, that was Gary Sanchez-esque defense. But I think Sanchez would have done a better job right there. Like, it was that freaking bad. He got crossed up on just normal routine fastballs. So I'm sorry. Trevino should take all kinds of L's. I think he did a terrible job. I think he's caught terribly this year, and not just that game. I've seen a bunch of times where he's not even catching the ball properly, and he's kind of dropping it, and he's like shaking his hand like a fastball hit the heel of his hand. So it was like, bro, like, what are you doing out there? Do better, or hopefully we call up Rice to replace you, because I'm pretty much getting done with you, bro. So I'm not a big fan of Trevino, so he takes the L for me. But I can't let Angel Hernandez get away with it. I can't. So I've got a new award, possibly just for today, but the Prick Award goes Angel Hernandez. You are the Prick. If anyone else thinks that there's a bigger Prick, let me know. But I think Angel Hernandez gets the Prick Award. But I'm going to ask Rob, who is your Prick?
I'm not going to say what I just wanted to say. Angel Hernandez.
It's Angel. As it. How they even let this guy still work? We've gone over it. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing the baseball. He's at the top of the mountain. Nobody can take over that throne.
There's actually a lot of competition. Like, you can make Rob Manfred. Rob Manfred is he's been a total disaster to start this year with this complete farce of a non-investigation against your better in chief, Ohtani. But we will get into more Manfred as I'm sure the season goes on, and the fact that his pitch clock is injuring half of baseball. But we're not going to worry too much about that right now. At the moment, Angel Hernandez is definitely the prick. Donald saying Sanchez was probably better than Trevino shows how, as time goes by, we forget. No. I'm not saying Sanchez is better than Trevino. No. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying what he did that inning was very similar to Gary Sanchez. There is no doubt that Sanchez was terrible. I was never a fan of Gary Sanchez. I wanted him gone so fast. But Rob always liked the guy. He was always defending him. And I'm just saying, let's call it fair. We all piled on Gary Sanchez for making similar mistakes to what Trevino did. And Trevino seems to have skated by right there. And not me. I'm not letting him skate by. So that's all I'm saying. But Frank, don't get me wrong. Come on, man. I'm not saying Sanchez is better than Trevino. There is absolutely no doubt about that, man. Trevino won a platinum glove for a reason, but he's caught a terrible year so far. That's all I'm saying. I'm just calling it as it is. So I think that's our awards for sure.
Yep. What about Boone's rating?
Good job, man. Good job. There's a lot of things that you could critique. Like, I would certainly critique the fact that Stanton was cleanup hitter when that was probably questionable. It didn't really work. Trusting Trevino was a big L for me. And maybe the bullpen management in the game where we were walking away with it, and then suddenly it became like a 9-8 game. You could certainly maybe question a few of those things. So, and I would also critique why he didn't cause a bigger stink with Angel Hernandez. If there's one game where you want to kind of stand up for your player, it was probably that one. So there's a few things, but we still won the series. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Rob.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I thought he should have took Trevino out earlier. 6. Yeah, he should have argued that call against Torres.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to give him. I'm going to go 7 out of 10. because he did make the adjustments in the lineup to move Stanton to the 5 spot. He did, we did win the series. So, you have to give him a little bit of a push for that. But yeah, he should have said something to Angel Hernandez. You got to stand up for you guys. If you'll argue balls and strikes, and act like savages in the box, that was the best moment to bring that back, and he missed out on it. So, but
I agree with that.
I still say because he made the adjustment with Stanton in the lineup and it paid off. And we did win the series. The bullpen started to flail a little bit. It happens, but hey, we won the series, so I can't punish him too much.
So, Mark, give me your rating out of 10. If you're saying a B plus, maybe an A, are you giving him like an 8 out of 10? NFB says 7. Jones says 6. So looks like it's a debate between 6 and 7. Next one wins. Next comment wins.
Well, we got
Give me
3
your
for 6 and
rating,
2 for
fans.
7. So
Got 2 for 7. So it looks like
3
7.
for 6.
Frederick's
Frederick's
got 7.
saying 7, so now we're tied.
Wow. So it looks like 7 out of 10 then.
Yeah.
All right.
No, it's tied. So, wait, 7 or 8, 7.5. Now you're really
Sunil, of course, Sunil 6.5. Of course,
no
Sunil.
halves.
We'll go with the 7. Steven said 7. We'll go with 7. So the fans are very positive on Boone, as is Uncle T. Good stuff.
Yep. All right. Well, that is going to conclude today's show. Hope everybody did enjoy themselves. We sure did. We always like starting off our week hanging out with you guys. But like we always say, hit that like button, hit that sub button, share this out to your friends, your family, the stranger on the corner. We will be back on Wednesday at 10 a.m. And I froze up. There we go. So we will be back Wednesday, 10 a.m. as always, and we will take a little deep dive into the Marlins series and how that's going. But like I always say, where you pinch out your pride and play hard.